Hey Legionnaires, and welcome back. We're here in 1212 AD once again, and oh boy, have the Ottomans arrived for a glorious siege here at Constantinople. They're here to take the old Roman capital for themselves, and oh, the Roman successors, the Byzantines, are here to defend it with their lives. And we have a sword unit here that's going to take on a cav charge that tries to break on through. It's actually some Frankish knights of all things as well, Christians, you know, working with Muslims. I couldn't think of a worse combination there. It's like Christians working with a Muslim nation to remove other Christians from this famous capital. But yes, it is, I guess it's not a historical siege as such. It's just a bit of a custom siege here on 1212 AD, but I guess it is a bit of a historical one as well. The Ottomans did obviously famously take Constantinople in 1453, as did many others that came before them, tried it as well and failed. The Byzantines did hold on to it for most of the time. I think there's obviously there's only one other attempt that they did actually lose it, and that's in 1204 to the Latins. But yes, we'll see whether today the Byzantines can hold on to it once again. This sword unit here getting absolutely focused down by archer fire, but it's like from janissaries, but they're firing fire arrows, which does a lot of morale damage, which is huge, but nothing much more. A tower getting taken out here, and a breach has been opened, as you can see here, but not much in the way of towers being moved up until just about now. Bazan, which are a light axe infantry unit, getting sent onto the walls, and they're going to be facing off against some swords here. Some mega lower gatai. I don't know how to say that. I like to always imagine it's like megalomaniac swords, which would be a much more interesting combination, that's for sure. But yeah, you can see it is well, it's not a massive like numbers difference. 3600 against 2700. It's actually 2v1, but the Byzantines do have like more troops than the two. Well, not more troops, but they have I think larger armies than the Ottoman armies. If it's like a one-on-one, then the Byzantines would have a larger army than one of the Ottomans. But the two armies coming together means that they do outnumber the Byzantines. There's like a small scale one, but I've been told it's a very, very close one. So I'm excited to see how this one goes down. It's been a little while since we've done like a good 1212 AD siege battle. And it's been a while since we've seen the Ottomans in action as well. Or the Byzantines, for that matter. And now I say that the Byzantines or the Ottomans probably will have been in, maybe not my last video, but certainly in a recent video. Certainly not my last. We had the Swedes and the Kievians in that one. If you haven't checked out the Battle of Neva, I fully recommend you go and do so. That was a really fun, cool historical battle that we did do recently with some very unknown factions. But yes, if you're enjoying all things 1212 AD and would like to see some more of it, then do remember to leave a like, subscribe if you're new around here, and if you want to show your support, it really does help out the channel. And if you want to get involved in any sort of 1212 battles, if you're like struggling to find games, then feel free to join my Discord. The link is down below in the description. And yeah, you can get involved in whether it's 1212 or just any old Total War battles, because as you may be aware, like game chat is slowly being removed from various Total War titles. That makes it much harder to chat to your fellow players. So yeah, if you want to get involved in some battles and be able to communicate with teammates, then yeah, maybe feel free to join my Discord. But yeah, this sword unit here is just getting like a cycle charge here by the cav. It is slowly working, as is not so much the archer fire, but the cav charging is sort of working. They got down to 97. A second sword unit may be going up to replace them or just reinforcement, as there is janissaries coming forward here. The shock infantry variant, they are very, very nasty, like heavily armored. And they're very, very nasty. Yeah, I also would say this is an historical battle anyway, because I have seen various different tiers on show here, especially for the Ottomans. These are tier 3, are these janissaries as they go in. And they're going to start slicing and dicing through this already weakened sword unit. I'm sure they will easily defeat them. But those Frankish knights that we saw charging earlier, they're tier 1. So they won't be... that's why I say it's more of a custom battle than it's historical. But it is like, you know, based similarly to like what happened in history. The Ottomans did attack Constantinople. Just not with tier 1 early period Frankish knights. If anything, the Frankish knights are actually helping defend the walls. Speaking of the walls, these Bazan units, these light axes, are being sliced and diced by these swords. Like these swords lost like 10 men insane. And the same on this side, really. Took a few more losses, but still managed to slice and dice them. I think the archer towers really have helped, like, pierce through these axes and just kill them off. So yeah, those Cambazan units there. An axe unit that kind of acts as shock in a way, but it just isn't as good and is quite light, like I was saying, so the armor is poor. But yeah, they are now setting up the heavier, more and actual shock infantry now. These are more Janissaries going in. I do love these guys. I wish there was like a sword variant Janissary, but that would probably make the Ottomans just too OP, to be honest. There probably is like a mod that adds like sword variant and Janissaries, but they were historically more bows and like gunners than they were anything else. So they did fight very well in melee as well. So actually, to be fair, having a Janissary shock infantry unit is quite surprising, and also a Janissary polearm, to be honest. But maybe they, I mean, 1212 usually do a lot of research on their units, so they probably did have both of these roles or something like that. Anyway, the Byzantines also have some secret weapons up their sleeves. While the Ottomans may have Janissaries, the Byzantines do have fire throwers here. The Cheirophyphanatores, as probably butcher that name, but they are basically a flamethrower unit. They are very, very cool to see in action. Very vulnerable to missiles, but they are like unit killers. I mean, I guess if an army was blobbed as well, army killers, like they will destroy multiple units, and if they don't kill them, they usually, because of the fire and like the flame that they're shooting out, they usually rout entire armies. So keep an eye on those, because they will probably get a lot of kills, or certainly do a lot of damage. At least I hope they will. There's a good chance that the Janissary archers that the Ottomans seem to have spammed out over here will probably just go and gun them down. I mean, it literally seems like all they brought is like Janissaries. They haven't brought the armored variant, but they just have the lightly armored ones, which is still pretty damn good. These Cambazan axes over here managed to land on the wall, and they won't be able to get off because the tower's destroyed. They won't be able to get off here, but they'll have to go along and fight these swords over here. But they have actually managed to successfully go onto the wall. Talk about success as well. The Janissaries are slaughtering these swords here. The megalomaniac swords, as I was calling them earlier. And they look like they will probably beat them. I think the Janissaries are also firing over the wall. What are they shooting at? Just shooting at swords, maybe doing some damage, but not much. It seems like they're blocking. We have actually got Varangians on it, Anglo-Varangioi. They are tier 3. I'm surprised the Byzantine player didn't bring like maybe multiple Anglo-Varangioi, because they are capped at 1, but just bring different like tiers. To bring maybe like the tier 2, the tier 3. I won't maybe have brought the tier 1, but certainly those top 2 would be pretty good to bring. The Anglo-Varangioi, if it doesn't get molested by archers like it is currently right now, can go and get 200-300 kills very, very easy. Probably, and the reason why it is capped is because it is the best shock infantry in the game, for sure, or in the mod, for sure. More Cambazan going in, and we have like these Janissaries now being rested up. I guess maybe he's wanting to save them for when the Varangians have to get sent in, so he can counter with those Janissaries. More Cambazan, those ones that were on the wall earlier, they've actually managed to get off. And they're now fighting down here against the swords. And as you can see, they basically are just a shock infantry unit, but they're just light. I imagine like an axe infantry unit would have like a shield and sword like together, a bit like a sword unit, but just have higher sort of like, maybe less melee defense, but higher like melee damage. But these basically are just like, yeah, just an axe infantry unit, like a shock infantry unit, but just worse. And yeah, they're actually getting poked in the back by Latincon here. So just to make sure that they die, and the swords and the Latincon together are beating these guys pretty easily. Janissary Billman here, trying to force his way through. The Ottoman player needs to be careful. He does have access this way. As you can see, the Janissaries are fine to move that way, but he looked like he was trying to push through the swords, but it does look fine now, so it looks like they're all in order. But the breach is open, as you can see here. All these Janissaries and the Frankish Knights are in now. The Byzantines are going to have to try and tighten, so we've got some Paramanoi here, which are a tier 2 heavy infantry unit, but they are heavies instead of mediums, like most of the other swords that we've seen. These guys might be able to help stop the rocks, stop the flood of Byzantines, stop the flood of Janissaries, I should say, rushing in here. It is mainly Janissaries in here. These pole arms, if they set up properly, can hold this bridge point, like this point. The cav's definitely pulling through. That's just pulled through the Paramanoid. That wasn't a very, very clean maneuver, and they are probably going to die there. I think they're after. What are they after? Oh, well, they just got absolutely annihilated by Cavalry there. Yeah, that was easy kills for them, and that's one lesser unit gone. The Janissaries there are wavering as well, so they're not having a good time. Certainly, if I was these Italicon here, the crossbows, I'd be focusing these guys. Like crossbows in 12-12 compared to say like Dawn of Stays can arc. So they basically act as archers with an amazing like AP damage. So they should do some really, really good damage to those Janissaries that are just clumped up in there. Also the Janissary shock infantry as well. There's some spears in it now trying to support, I guess, maybe to protect against the Cavalry. And another cav unit coming in. It's more Frankish knights. Again, it's tier 1 against, I mean, they got a decent charge if they killed a couple of the Cavalry. But the Frankish knights are tier 1 going against tier 3. It's not exactly fair on that sense. You can see the armor difference. Like, in comparison, they are both technically heavy cav, but one has just got better armor. But the Cavalry is actually going to retreat. I guess maybe it just doesn't want that fight with the Frankish lancers. If he doesn't have to have it. Fighting along the walls is it's going okay. I wonder whether they really need 2 units over here. I guess they might need to. These shock infantry otherwise might be able to slice and dice them. Oh, these swords are good. With the Catalanoi here and the Paramanoids, so they're 2 very elite units over here contending with these Janissaries, and they look awesome. These units. Look at them. Why didn't the Byzantine Empire live on? Especially if they're going to have like badass units like this. Like the guy in blue here looks amazing. I love that look. Love that. But yeah, they're fighting on. They actually seem like they're dealing with those Janissaries. Okay, and by dealing, I mean holding them. And we have Janissaries' Archer variant on the wall. We'll have to see how good they do in melee now, because they are fighting an actually fighting a sword unit. So a unit that is trained with sword and shield against a unit that technically is a bow unit. But I don't really use these Janissaries, so I don't know how good they are. Like, they are a light range melee infantry, so they are hybrids, so they are pretty good with sword and bow, but I never use them, so I don't know how good their melee stats are. I usually bring the armored variant, which is much, much better. Yeah, they are useful to have, because it basically means you have an extra melee unit whilst bringing bows. Usually they are banned, or they're not banned, but they're like limited. Like you can only bring like 2 hybrids or something like that in a game because they are that good. But yeah, as you can see there, the shock infantry looks like it's been focused down. And that's been dealt with. It's actually, I didn't even realize it's the Varangian Guard up here. That's the reason why these Janissaries are getting sliced and diced over here. That is, yeah, not going to be a fun fight for those Janissaries, that's for sure. I mean, facing the Emperor's finest, I won't want to do it. And there you can see Janissaries. They look like they're breaking through, actually. I wonder whether this Latin here was focused down or whether it just got beaten in melee by the Janissary building. Either way, they've beaten everything there and they're through. So the Janissaries could push on, but I think they just kind of want to protect this flank with the pole arms and not risk these Janissary shocking charge for the Cavalry, which is still sniffing about. They just need to be careful. Paramanoid over here, losing slightly. I think it's just because they're getting flanked by the Janissaries. We'll see. The Cavalry, though, could go for side charges onto the spears and the shock there if you wanted to. But this choke point here is not looking good. I don't know how good these Italicon are in melee. They are heavy crossbows. That would mean, I'd imagine, decent sort of like armor. There is actually another shock here. We do have another Anglo-Varanjo. This is the tier 2 variant. He's actually kept that one back instead of his tier 3 one. But it doesn't really matter. He might need to send it in. But we do have flamethrowers coming forward here. So that is good to see. They've actually come the long way around to get here. But we are going to see the flamethrowers, I think, in action very, very soon. So I think they're moving over to this choke point, which is, like I was saying, the most key one to hold on to. Got Barda Totoy here, which is a tier 1 sword unit, but they are pretty damn good, and they look badass as well. I mean, I wouldn't want to mess with this unit. I also love the cav variant for this as well. Which have these, this look. Tier 1 Byzantines, I mean, Byzantines generally do look good, but tier 1 especially. 10 out of 10. Really makes me want to play with the Byzantines more, or just like a Byzantine scenario. Yeah, they are getting in there. And more cavs coming in as well, which is the real problem. Even though it's Frankish, like tier 1 cav, it might still be this Cavalry now at 36 men left. Yeah, that might be enough to stop them. Yeah, they're going to charge at the Italicon. That's going to be pretty nasty. Even though they're heavy crossbows, they won't like a charge from the Frankish knights, that's for sure. They'll slash and hack at those Italians. Serving with the Byzantines there. They're dying. Yeah, look at that. Half strength already. That's not good. Oh, here we go. Flamethrowers. Oh, my gosh. Absolutely annihilated these guys. And look at that. That is like, I mean, haven't killed the whole unit, but they are causing them to waver and break. And look at that. Yeah, they're getting shot at immediately. Like, as soon as that happened, the Janus was like, nah, that's not happening again. You're not allowed to do that. They have routed or wavered a lot of stuff. That might have stabilized the front. We'll see. But there isn't so much in the way of infantry really on show. They might need to just use up the remains of those flamethrowers, just try and burn some of this other remaining stuff left. Oh, there was a cav charge outside the walls. Cavalry here, tier 3, went for a charge on a general, the Bebelé's bodyguards, and lost pretty decisively. I wonder whether these fire throwers are going to come for a second go. They might need to against the cav here. We'll stay zoomed out just in case. See the flames fire. They do take a while to like actually fire. Oh, they're going to go for a rear charge at the cav here onto the Latincon and rout them. Every explosion I hear like that, I just think, is that the fire throwers? But it's not. I think these Frankish knights are going to try and just maybe pull their way through to get to those fire throwers.
The men are broken and running for their lives.
Italicon here, sorry. They're going to try and stop them. Fire throwers, just turn around and fire. Just kill your own men if you have to save yourself from the cavalry. But this is now gone. I mean, the Italicon are winning apparently, but they're not going to be able to stop all those Janissaries, that general, and the spears there. Yeah, it's not happening. I don't know what else they can really bring over here. Where are, like, this final angle of Varandro might as well come forward, and the general, bring him forward, get him over here. I feel like a big loss is having 2 swords here tying down one of these Janissaries. Like, I would have just sent a bow unit, just help to support this, and then you could have one of these swords go in this direction and help over here, because I feel like they were just short of infantry generally here. It looks like the cav might have rallied. It's going to kill off some of these Janissaries. It's a bit of a win, I guess. There isn't much that this is really the main pushing power. If they could kill that general with a flaming volley, then they might have a chance. They might have a chance. I mean, the gens here now supporting a cav charge is not going to happen from the Ottomans because they'll just get countered here. But they need to get that shock forward as well. Send it in to the cav while it's all tied down by archers or by crossbows. Yeah, I mean, they might do some damage, you never know. Or they might kill off some of these other Janissaries out here as well. Yeah, look at that. Routed all those with that little cavalry. They are going to get countercharged here. Looks like by Frankish knights. I don't know who will win that fight. Both are really banged up. I would have thought maybe the cavalry, but it might be the... Oh no, the Frankish knights will win because they've got those Janissary supports.
Cowards!
But yeah, we patiently wait for a fire thrower shot. I think he's going to use it on those generals. He probably has 2 more volleys, I think. 2 more volleys. I think they have only about 3. It's nothing too major. We have the Anglo Vrandroi still up here, only lost 20 men. That is insane. They're going to take it on another Janissary. Numbers, by the way, 700 against 1,300. It's still pretty damn close. Still more Janissaries though to come in. This is insane. Too many Janissaries. There are. It's endless hordes of Ottomans. Got a mortar here. I totally forgot that they were using that. Mortars can get like hundreds of kills. I don't think they will have in this one. Not been like a huge amount of targets. General hit. I don't know why he keeps using fire ammo, does the Ottoman player. He must have a reason, apart from like lowering morale. I mean, but it only like is effective for like 12 seconds, like it says there. So, and at the moment, he's not being like shot at, or well, not like he's not being engaged, so it doesn't happen or matter a lot. Barricades under attack. Oh, we have Cav over here destroying barricades. I guess maybe just wanting to get in behind or go for the cap point. Don't know. I guess the Cav isn't too useful at the moment. They're in a bit of a standoff here, the Byzantines and the Ottomans. And the general's going to fall back. He's like, yeah, I'm not just going to get shot at for free, which is fair enough. This sword over here, though, that could probably be used and sent over in this way. And these crossbows probably want to start firing as well. Probably just want to, you know, start damaging the general here, who's also getting shot at, probably by these Italicon. We have less than 5 minutes left, and it's still very tense. Either side could definitely win this. Like I said, an Ottoman general get killed off, or just a mass rout from like the cause of these fire throwers. Bounce power would say can't happen, but it definitely can. And I mean, also they got that Anglo-Vrandroi left, and if they just keep them in combat and don't get them charged or shot at, like what's happening right now on the walls, which is where they are best, they can definitely like deal with these guys easily. I mean, I wonder whether this Anglo-Vrandroi, like the one that's spare, whether it's been better to just deal with these Janissaries. I mean, the Janissaries are going to get beaten up anyway and killed, and these sword units will become available. But these two swords would have been better off in that choke point, and the Anglo-Vrandroi being on that wall. But instead, the Anglo-Vrandroi has just been left to do nothing. Oh, spears broke there, actually. The general here, I think, charged them. He's managed to break them. I think we're going to see a charge in a moment, and then the Anglo-Vrandroi are going to go in, and yep, that is what's happening here. Here we go. Frankish Knight should win that one. Sorry, we'll lose that one because it's tier 1 against tier 3. The general is just so much more powerful. But I mean, the Janissaries are now throwing themselves in. Shame we don't have like control left, so we can see a little bit more what's going on. I mean, the trees are on fire. Look at the chaos here. Anglo-Vrandroi going in now, fighting against Janissaries. And they should, if the Janissaries aren't in phalanx, which seems like what is the case, they should slice and dice these guys pretty easily. The Varangians, they would struggle against phalanxes, but not against individual like Janissaries. Yeah, and that's what's happening. Look at those. The Billmen are dying. They're falling back. They're going to probably bait the Varangians into getting cap charged here by a bodyguard general or something like that. But here come the fire throwers. They're going to have to shoot soon, because otherwise they'll get focused down by here. Look at that. The Ottoman army is running. It knows what happens. Don't get too close. Fire! That general's otherwise going to kill you. Oh, and there you go. That is goodbye Vienna for the fire throwers. They have very little armor. And look at that. Look at that. Down to 6. Wavering. They'll break. And the general as well. Down to 40. And he's losing decisively. I don't know whether that charge like followed through on him. But yeah, it is not looking good. That is not good at all.
Shameful display.
They did manage to win on the wall here. They killed all those. Those other Varangians are going to be needed now. Look at that. They're running off the wall. They are needed quickly. Over here as well, they won. Need these swords to get over here and support their general. I don't think they'll be able to save the gen, but they might be able to pick up the pieces. But it's a huge loss for those flamethrowers. They really should have just... he kept pushing them forward. Just wait for the enemy to come close to you, like in this instance. And at this point, could have sacrificed your general and maybe taken out both. It may have been worth it. Who knows? The Italicon here really needs to try and shoot generals, or just try and shoot something weak enough to kill it. It's not looking good though, and this Varangian guard here also it's done too much. Well, it's not done too much. It's fought too much, I guess, and it's died. There you go, it's routed. That's it. That's it, finished. But it's done enough. It's like it's played its part. That's the major thing I was trying to say. We've got more swords coming forward. They could just get charged by the general. That's the problem. And the Italicon here trying to shoot Janissaries. There you go. The general is gone as well. He's died. He routed and then got run down. And I think now we'll see maybe a mass rout from the Byzantines. We'll see. They'll have to kill the Ottoman general pretty quickly. Again, we can't see what's going on. Why do they decide to fight in the foliage at the end of this fight? Varangians are going to countercharge. They really want to kill this general. I don't know if they will get him. Janissaries charged forward. I don't know why this player is not using his phalanx at all. Yeah, there's Varangians. Yeah, you get charged. They die pretty quickly. If you can keep the general at bay by just shooting him with crossbows, then he's got a chance. But yeah, it looks like Varangians are starting to die pretty quickly. They could kill these Billmen off. I don't know if they're in phalanx, but yeah, being charged by Cav and also fighting a Billman unit is not going to go well down for those Varangians. I think they have routed them. The Varangians will carry on the fight, going to this general. Kill a general at least. Take one of them down with you. The last 20 seconds. It's not looking good. The swords over here have got off the wall, but... And there's a speed. How did they get in? Sneak through the wall? Like over the wall, maybe? And still one Janissary that's still coming in. It's insane. I mean, they're only Janissary archers. They're not that great. But they're okay in melee. And there you go. Yeah, Italicon getting mixed up with those general units, and they've been routed. And those other swords, tired and depleted, rout as well. We'll end the replay and have a quick look at the end results. And as you can see, it was a pretty damn close one. There's not much left for either side. I mean, like less than 900 or just about 900 for the Ottomans left. But we'll have a quick look at the end results. Got 402 kills with this Anglo-Varangioi here. Like 60 kills for the Catalanoi, nothing insane. Paramanoi 140. Cav getting 242 kills, very, very nice. Italicon 125. I mean, even though I didn't feel like the fire throwers did very well, 130 kills is very good. The swords here 149. So well done to Chicken Wolf, who sent this one in, playing as the Empire Knights here, did a very good job. John Wayne playing as one of the Ottomans, 142 kills with his general, 126 with the Shock Janissaries, and then his Cav 194, 120 kills with the Frankish Knights. Then the Holy Nade playing as the other Ottoman army, 140 kills with his general. His shock infantry did even better, 336, 256 kills. And then, yeah, like the rest of his army did like so-so, nothing insane. But there you go, guys. The Ottomans did, in fact, take Constantinople once again. Byzantium has fallen, and the days of the Orthodox Empire are over. Until next time, guys, I'll see you in the next 1212 AD siege.